Dc31 Looking Back from the Future. Soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. Looking back from the future. I looked at my parents and all these other people around me who were walking, and I wanted to be able to walk too. It was frustrating. At that moment, something strange happened. I transported myself in my mind into the future and looked back. There was no need to be frustrated. It was just a matter of time and a natural process. I found myself much later in my life running and playing with my friends. It happened so fast I even didn't remember how it all happened. I could walk, even run and climb. What happened to all that time? It felt as if it had not existed. Now I was at school facing some tests in the following weeks. I was nervous and all kinds of thoughts were going through my mind. Do I know what will be asked? What if they ask questions and I cannot answer? I'm going to feel stupid. What is my dad going to say when I fail? Are my friends going to make fun out of me? Time takes forever. I wish these tests were already passed. Again, I transported myself in my mind into the future and looked back. It happened again, like at the first time. I was eager to walk. The test had passed, and I was looking back. It had all gone faster than I had even imagined. Why did I got myself so worked up? It went okay. Why had I been so nervous and afraid about? Now going to school day in, day out, I couldn't wait till I finished it. I wanted to make my own money, buying a motorbike or a car. I wanted to go out and do what I wanted to do and not having to listen to my parents. I was angry inside and wanted to be free. As I now know the trick to transport myself into the future, I did so and looked back. It had not been bad at all, and life that had been at that time was far less complicated than the life I was living now in the future. I was working for a company. I had a car and was busy setting up my own company. And again, I couldn't wait to be my own boss. I always wanted to have a better car, as the one I had did cost a lot of money in repairs. I became itchy and restless. And there again, I transported myself into my mind into the future and looked back. It had not been bad at all, and all these worries were for my boss, and why didn't I appreciate my situation and my car? Bang! There I was some years later again. Now I had my own business and a new car, and I just got involved in a relationship to which I wanted to commit to. I wanted to get married and have a house. I couldn't wait. I needed to make her happy and give her comfort. I felt the tension inside of me. Yes, and I did it again, transported myself into my mind in the future and looked back again. In a flash, there I was again, in the future. All the things that I thought that would have made my wife more happy didn't do the trick, as I didn't have enough time to spend with her. I was overworking. Here I was married, my wife pregnant, and we were building a house. I couldn't wait till the house was finished. All these headaches. The house needs to be ready before the delivery, and nobody seems to care. They were on the payroll and waiting every day to go home after their working hours. I was so frustrated and transported myself in my mind into the future and looked back again. Here I was, the house was finished, and my daughter was born at the hospital. Why did I let my anger go out to all these workers? There I was, sitting in my living room, and realizing that I seldom was at home, always working. There were now two small children running around. In my mind, I needed to make more money because I wanted to send them to the best schools and was looking forward to the time that they were out of the house. Again, I transported myself and my mind in the future and looked back. Why didn't I spend more time at home, and why didn't I had spent more time with them? Now I was in my home with my wife. The children were married. Where did all that time went? I was worried about my health and was fighting a disease and couldn't wait till they had fixed me up. I transported myself and my mind in the future, but this time something surprised me, for I was not able to look back to my situation I was in. I was laying on my deathbed and looking back at my entire life. It all went so fast. What had been the meaning of my life? I didn't want to die, but at the same time realized that I had never lived. I always wanted to be in the future. Now I had reached the time and moment where I didn't know where I was going, for there was no future anymore. There was no way to transport myself into the future, for soon there was none anymore. I suddenly realized that in all these phases of my life, I had never wanted to be where I had been. Every time I transported myself into the future and had no fear. This time, however, I had no idea where I would end up and how would it be after my death. Was there a future? I was sad, angry, in panic, and desperate at the same time. Then suddenly a voice started to speak from within. It felt coming from deep inside of me. I am your voice, from before the past and after the future. I am from a place before time began. In the world you live, the future was always there, and you always wanted to be away from where you were. Yes, you forgot to live your life, as you have realized. You didn't enjoy the adventure, and now all of a sudden, you don't want to be in the future. Now, there is nothing to enjoy anymore, as your body is sick. But when I just could have some more time. Time? Time for what? To worry more? And to play with transporting yourself into the future? Now you are afraid and do not even know where and how to go in the future. However, in order to conquer that worry, you have to travel in the future as you did. But I have no security and I don't know even where that future is. You see, in all these phases in your life, you were always preparing yourself for the future. You kept on crawling, standing up and falling till you could stand. You were studying to do your tests. You were working and making money to buy a car and a house. You committed to a partner and took care of her and later the children. You made all the preparations to live comfortably and kept working to get your children to school. You kept going to doctors and taking medicine to get well again. Although you did put all your effort in all these stages of your life, there was no guarantee. There was no security that you would be able to walk. Something could have happened. You could have failed your tests, and maybe bad things at times could have come to your company and or through economy, and maybe there was no stable job. Maybe there would not have been enough money to buy your car or build your home. Maybe the girl you love didn't love you. Your wife could have died and even your children before you. Most important is, however, when looking back, that nothing worked out 100% as you had expected, but somehow you managed to get through it all, isn't it? There was no insurance and no guarantee with anything. The only insurance and guarantee you had was that you would die one day. And what preparations did you make for this? None. And for that reason, you do not want to face the facts. Maybe there is a better world that exists already before the past and the future were created. I come from there. And I tell you that you could have looked from there all the time at everything and guide yourself from there through all the challenges of your life. You, however, did it in a very limited way, with transporting yourself at challenging moments into the future. It was, however, your process you had to go through, and nothing you could have changed, except for looking at it with more ease. By looking back from a certain stage of life ahead of you, it all doesn't seem so desperate. It was just a matter of assisting yourself to go through the different stages, yeah, correct? Life in the creation, and the creation called the mind, is only a momentary experience. It is actually just a movie, which is not real, and for that reason an illusion, just like all the feelings and fears you had in the stages of your life. Every time looking from the future, they were an illusion, a creation in your own mind. You played a transporter in your own movie, but you were still in the movie, and now you see that the movie will be ending soon. You could have all done it in another way by realizing this and guiding yourself from outside the movie, but it is not too late yet to step into this way of living life. Thank you for the explanation, but could you please guide me into the future? That depends on you, as this time travel goes beyond the realm of your mind, body, and matter. You must be willing to die from the world you are now in. You must be willing to give up your body and your mind. You mean you are saying that I'm going to die right now? No. There is still time. There is still some time before your book of life closes itself. So my question to you is, do you like to go into the future and to see where you originally came from and who you really are? When you are willing to die from this illusion, I can show you life forever, which is, if you want to believe it or not, a place where you are already, like experiencing a future stage in your life. I can show you the place where you always have been, a place which you actually never have left. You only got involved in watching a movie, like watching movies on a TV. It was not real, and actually it never happened, just like a movie. You just have to wake up from your dream state, being involved in the movie, and you will discover something far more interesting and satisfying. The real you. You will find yourself in a world where only peace, love, and happiness exist. A world in which you can live forever. Okay, I understood. what you said, and I am ready to listen to whatever you tell me to do, but I have one question. Who are you? And then the voice answered, I am the real and original you, the one who was there before the past, and the one who will be there after the future. So what do I need to do? Get yourself better and search for someone, a guide, a teacher or master, who has gone there and travels at will back and forth and still lives in the world, inside the movie. That individual will show you how to die daily while being in your physical body and find the real world, the real you, and that everlasting life. The voice disappeared, and I was back home with my wife and still in my state of sickness. But something from the inside had moved me to get better and to find such an individual. I really wanted to wake up, and I knew from my past experience that it was just a matter of time, like it always had been, finding myself in the future and looking back into the past. What the story could bring us. In general, we are chasing through life and at the same time wanting to be out from where we are and wanting to be in the future. And by doing so, not being in the present moments of our life experience. Basically, we are forgetting to live. Parallel with this way of living life, we are always preparing for something, from making sure that there is food in the house, the next thing to go and do, but all these things have no security, as many things can happen before that next things to go or next thing to do could happen. There is, however, one guarantee and one security, that will be that we have to give up this human body. And what preparations have we made in order to face that fact? And of course the question, was that it? Being born, forgetting to live, and then dying? Or is there more?